I never thought I would feel this way. When I married Jenny, I believed she was everything I wanted: beautiful, smart, and full of life. But as the years passed, the love between us began to fade. We still lived under the same roof, but it felt like we were strangers. She was always busy, always tired, always somewhere else in her mind. I tried to talk to her, to remind her of the days when we couldn't stop holding hands or laughing at silly jokes. But she would just nod and change the topic. Slowly, I started feeling empty inside. Then one day, while working on a project in town, I met Pret. She was different, soft-spoken yet full of warmth. When she talked, she listened too. When she smiled, it felt like the sun breaking through dark clouds. I found myself telling her things I hadn't told anyone in years: my fears, my dreams, my disappointments. With Pret, I felt seen again. I felt heard. I felt loved in a way I thought I had lost forever. It scared me, yet I couldn't stay away. One rainy evening, after work, Pret and I sat in a small cafe, sipping hot tea and watching the raindrops slide down the glass. She reached across the table, held my hand, and said softly, "You look tired, but I see your heart. And it's beautiful." In that moment, I realized the love I had been searching for in my wife, I had found in another woman. That night, when I got home, Jenny was already in bed, scrolling through her phone. She barely looked at me as I entered the room. "You're late again," she said flatly. "Work," I replied, loosening my tie. The truth was, work had ended hours earlier, but I had been with Pret, talking, laughing, feeling alive again. Jenny didn't ask further, and I didn't offer more. That was our pattern now: silences filled with distance. Days turned into weeks, and my connection with Pret grew stronger. She made me remember the man I used to be: the dreamer, the lover, the one who saw beauty in small things. Sometimes I caught myself smiling at nothing, lost in the memory of something she had said. One Saturday afternoon, Pret invited me to a community event she was helping organize. Music played, children ran around, and her laughter danced in the air like a melody. Standing beside her, I felt like I belonged somewhere again. But as the sun was setting, my phone buzzed. It was Jenny. "Where are you?" Her message read. I typed back quickly, "Still at work. I'll be late." I slid my phone back into my pocket, but a part of me knew these little lies were bricks building a wall between my marriage and me. A wall I wasn't sure I wanted to tear down. And then, something happened that evening that made me realize my secret couldn't stay hidden forever. It started with the way Jenny's eyes lingered on me that night when I finally got home. "You smell different," she said quietly, almost to herself. I froze for a second, then laughed it off. "Just a new cologne." But she didn't laugh back. Over the next few days, I noticed her watching me more closely, asking where I was, who I was meeting, even glancing at my phone when she thought I wasn't looking. Jenny had never been the jealous type, but now her questions carried a sharp edge. One evening, as I was about to head out to meet a client, she stood by the door and blocked my way. "Pret," she said. I felt my stomach tighten. "What about her?" I asked, trying to keep my voice calm. Her eyes narrowed. "I know you've been seeing her. I don't know how far it's gone, but I can feel it. You smile more when you get a message. You dress better. And when you come home, you're here, but not really here." For a moment, I wanted to deny everything, to tell her she was imagining it. But the truth was written in my silence. Jenny stepped aside, her eyes wet but steady. "Go," she whispered. "But remember, whatever you're chasing, it's not without a price." I left the house, but her words stayed in my head all the way to Pret's place. And that night, as Pret hugged me and told me how happy she was to see me, I couldn't shake the thought: how long could I keep living in two worlds before one of them collapsed completely? The answer came sooner than I expected. A week later, Pret asked me to meet her at a small restaurant outside town. She sounded excited on the phone, almost nervous. "I have something important to tell you," she said. When I arrived, she was already seated by the window, her hands clasped together. She smiled when she saw me, but it was a strange kind of smile, soft, but with a weight behind it. Before I could even ask, she said, "Jenny came to see me." I froze. What? Yes, Pret nodded. She came to my shop yesterday. She didn't shout, she didn't insult me, she just talked. My mind raced, imagining the worst, but Pret continued. She told me she still loves you, but she doesn't know how to reach you anymore. She said you've changed since you met me. She even thanked me for making you happy, but, Pret's voice broke slightly, she asked me if I loved you enough to let you go. I stared at her, my chest tightening. And what did you say? Pret looked down at her hands. I told her I don't know. Silence fell between us. The restaurant's soft music played in the background, but to me it sounded far away. Pret reached for her glass of water, took a sip, then met my eyes again. She's not the enemy, you know. She's just a woman fighting for her marriage. And she hesitated, I don't want to be the reason a family breaks apart. Her words cut deeper than any argument Jenny and I had ever had. For the first time, I realized this wasn't just about love, it was about choices, consequences, and the lives hanging on my decision. That night, I couldn't sleep. Pret's words kept echoing in my mind, mixing with the memory of Jenny's tearful eyes. I realized I was standing at a crossroads, and whichever way I turned, someone would get hurt. The next morning, I came home earlier than usual. Jenny was in the kitchen, humming softly as she stirred a pot of soup. It had been years since I'd heard her hum. She turned when she saw me, a small smile on her lips. I made your favorite, she said quietly. Over the next few weeks, something began to shift. Jenny started talking to me more, asking about my day, even suggesting we take evening walks together. She laughed again, the kind of laughter I remembered from the early days of our marriage. One evening, as we walked down the quiet street near our home, she stopped and looked at me. I know I failed you in some ways, she said, but I don't want to lose you. I want us to be us again. It wasn't just words, her actions proved she meant it. She started leaving me little notes before work, cooking my favorite meals, listening to me without distraction. Slowly, the warmth I had found in Pret began to reappear in Jenny. I met Pret one last time. She smiled sadly, as if she already knew my decision. Go home, she said, and keep what you found this time. Don't let it slip away again. And so I did. Jenny and I rebuilt our marriage, brick by brick, with honesty, patience, and forgiveness. The love I once searched for outside my home had been there all along, buried under years of neglect, but still alive, waiting to be found. And this time, I wasn't going to lose.